Hey Kerbal Space Friends, how's everybody doing? And welcome to this week's Shenanigans in KSP. So as you can see here, I have a very simple launcher, basically just a jumbo and a twin bore array. But what's important here is what it's taking to orbit. So let me show you. So have you ever wanted to take a Kerbal pretty much anywhere and not have to worry about delta V? Well, that's what this is all about. Yeah, I don't have a particularly cool name for this thing, but it is basically a ion engine ship. You can see there. Now, the difference between this one and every ion engine ship I'd ever made before is this one isn't solar or battery powered, it's fuel cell powered. These fuel cells weren't added to the game that long ago, and I never used them for anything other than like powering rovers or having them as a backup for electricity on ships. This time I'm taking a tank with a lot of fuel and oxidizer, several power cells as well as solar panels, and a whole ton of xenon gas with me to use these 9 engines. With it, I can circularize this orbit and pretty much take my little Kerbal anywhere. Now, the tool that I'm going to use the most here to stop from basically going insane is going to be physics warp. If you do all your burns with physics warp, then they don't take all afternoon. So there we go. The orbit has been circularized. Can catch the engines now. I'm going to take a look at this thing. Alright, so not long ago they introduced this new Xeon tank. It's huge, 5,000 each. I got 3 of those. I need a little more than that because I did some tests. I was figuring that 3 of these would burn enough fuel to power 9 of these, and 1 of these tanks would provide as much electricity as these had Xeon. But no, actually, 3 of these tanks burn out faster than 1 of these. So here are a couple of extra ones. Also, the 3 big power cells can't quite power the engine, so I have some solar panels just as backup, especially since I'm Xenon heavy now, so I can completely run out of fuel and still have some power. The electric charge buffer is pretty huge, so I can let that charge and then do a long burn. And yeah, these extra ones. Then of course our reentry vehicle, it's got a decoupler, it's got a parachute, and it's got a heat shield. Of course I also have a female Kerbal because she's going to be in space for a really long time. I don't know if you guys are fans of the PBS Spacetime show, but they did a show on if and when they send people to Mars, it'll probably be all women, because their eyes don't warp and staying in space for long periods of time, and they burn less calories than men. So I'm all for it. Wonder what's more efficient. Let's do it. Let's send just girls. So let's see. What I'm planning on doing here is not actually a type of planned trip of any way. I'm going to just basically send her out there and visit as many planets as I can and then come back. So the first thing I'm going to do is just escape Kerbal, and of course we have that beautiful thing known as the moon to give us a gravity assist. I will plot a course for it that misses it on the outside of the moon, and that should fling us out into, there it is, 40 kilometers. That should fling us out into an orbit of the sun, which we can then use to go pretty much wherever we want. Estimated burn 10 minutes and 27 minutes. Now with these really long burns, it's kind of okay to go a little early, but just burn on the prograde and then look for the node. That's a trick I learned from Scott Manley. He was doing some huge thing that I think he was bouncing to min, miss, and back for Delta V. He had to do like a 20 minute burn or something. And I remember that. He went a little early, so theoretically to do a 50-50 burn, I'd go on the 5 minute mark, but I'm going to go more like on the 7 minute mark. And then I'm not going to actually aim where it wants me to aim, because I'd be aiming down at Kerbal. I'm going to just go flat to the prograde till I can actually burn towards the node. And if everything works out, I should get my escape. So, physics warp. And I'm probably going to follow the inside of the node. Like that. I love the little graphics on this engine now. You can actually see they're doing something. Before it was like, what? Are they on? Is something happening? Whoops. It's not quite as powerful as I wanted it to be. As far as the power generation is, I have to throttle down every now and then. That should be fine. Let's slow it down for course correction. Okay, so no longer accelerating. Let's burn like there. Alright. So, if this works out like I want it to work out, we'll have gotten in orbit and escaped Kerbal using less than 10% of our total fuel. I mean, that's usually where you spend the majority of your fuel. If you don't land and you do, the little tours where you intercept things, you can go anywhere. I'm wondering where you could do it, if you could do a grand tour with this thing, if you could pretty much visit everything in the system. I'm not that good at intercepts, so I wouldn't try it myself. But I wonder if somebody else that I follow or anybody else out there who's like really good at those could try it. Probably do some amazing stuff with this setup. Okay. I really want to see how much fuel I've used just getting out of Kerbal, so let's continue this burn and see what happens. I think we're already high enough that we can burn down a little bit. Continuing with the physics warp. Yeah, even with the physics warp, that's taking its time, isn't it? Oh, we're at full battery, so let's full throttle it again. Even if it does burn down a little bit. So I'll have some time to kill. Anybody playing that the Division game that's coming out soon? I know they had a very long open beta. One of my friends from work told me to give it a try, but by the time I got around to it, there's only like a week and a half left on the beta. So I don't know. I might do it anyway just to see if it's worth paying $60. Comment down below if you guys have been playing it. Any recommendations? Okay. So this is getting close where I want it to be. I'm going to stop the warp. I kind of missed the slingshot, but it still should get a pretty efficient escape from Kerbal. There it is. Alright. So let's see here. I think the xenon is what we have to be most careful with. That's what if we run out we can't go anywhere anymore. And we use use a little under 4,000. Yeah. 1,000 divided by. Yeah, so we still have about 82% of our fuel with us, and we are already outside of Kerbal. So there goes brave Macbeth on her journey. We will check in with her every now and then. I wonder where I'll send her first. There's all sorts of places we can go. I've always wanted to have something orbit Moho, so I might do that. Or I've never been to Dres. I'll see which one lines up. But for now, this was just a short video showing this one little ship that I just designed. Thank you guys very much for watching, and remember to fly safe.